Hey folks, DC here, DC's Gadgets. It is April the 2nd, 2019. I started to do this video yesterday, but I mumbled too much and couldn't hear it, so doing it again today. I'm going to try to talk louder. I'm feeling frustrated this last week. Some of the items are just life stuff. Life happens sometimes and frustrates us. And some of the items are B stuff. So can't do much about the life stuff. That's my problem. The B stuff I want to talk about. First thing that kind of got me frustrated was last week on Queen Breeding Group on Facebook. Somebody had asked about what people were using to graft on, or some similar question. And the first response that I saw was a link to my gadgets, and the person that posted it said, you can go here or you can copy it, which really didn't appreciate that, but you know, it happens. But then the next post was a picture where the person had copied my grafting tray. It's hanging on the steering wheel. And it wasn't an exact copy. It didn't fold. It looks like it's just a flat piece of aluminum. So initially I was kind of irritated. But I've done the same thing myself at times. But typically when I do it myself, it's because I can make it a whole lot cheaper than I can buy it. Because you get into this, you know, cost versus time thing. And I'm trying to price my stuff in a place where it's really not economical to make it yourself unless you've got all the stuff already there. As you get into time, how much is your time worth? If you spend 2 or 3 hours making something, then you could have bought it and spent those 2 or 3 hours doing something different anyway. So my initial response back was that they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but I really wasn't feeling very flattered. And the guy I work with had asked me about my patents. He's like, well, you got patents on this stuff, you gonna do something about it? I'm like, really, you can't, because unless the person that copied it tries to go out and sell it, well, patent lawyer doesn't want to talk about it. So it happened. I really kind of expected it to happen sooner or later. And it happened. It's okay. I'll get over it. I'm still selling stuff, so I'll get over it. The other thing that's getting me frustrated is bees. Trying to make queens. I'm making queens, I'm just not making a lot of queens, and that's been kind of frustrating. But I think I solved some of my problem. Last year, my first year actually trying queens, I actually did pretty good. Started off the year kind of slow, but by July and August, I was getting pretty good results. I've got several bars made up with 8 to 12 cell holders. I'm using the Nicot holders just because I like to be able to put a cage on them, stick them in the incubator or leave them in the box and put a cage on them. Because I can't get back on the right day, I don't lose a bunch of queens, so it's convenient. So I've got several cell bars with 8 to 12 holders on it. So last year I'm grafting 8 to 12, I was getting like 6 to 9, 6 to 10 accepted out of 8 and 12. So feeling pretty good. I was getting decent results. And then late August, early September time frame, I was running out of the little brown cups. These little brown cups that come with the Nicot. I was running out of these cups, so I went on to buy some more. I was on eBay and I found an ad for this thing called Queen Cell Cups. These little yellow things. I think I'm colorblind, so it could be green. I know it's not pink, but anyway. There's an ad for these things, and they're advertised as Queen Cell Cups. So I bought them. It was like $8 for 1,000, really cheap. So I bought them. Started using them late September, early October, and my results changed pretty drastic, actually. I still graft 8, 10, or 12, but instead of getting 6 out of 8, I was getting like 4. And instead of getting 9 out of 12, I was getting 5. And so, at first I thought, maybe it's because I'm getting late in the year and the bees are just slowing down, they're not producing as much, that I don't want to make queens. So I kind of wrote it off. And it got worse. I kept grafting through November, December, even into January. But because I was getting so low numbers, I just started grafting less. So I'd graft in November, like 3 different times I grafted, but I only grafted 4. And then on one occasion I got 2, a couple of times I got 1. And I think I got 2 twice and 1 twice. December was the same thing. I'd graft like 3 or 4 and I'd get like 1 or 2. This year, that's all they wanted to make, you know. So we get into February this year, and I'm getting the same basic results. I'm grafting 8 to 12 larvae. I'm getting 3, 4, 5. And in February, I kind of wrote it off too because it was kind of early. But then March hit, and March was a great month for us. And I know my grafting skills aren't great, but I graft 8 and get 3. And so I'm at Texas a couple weeks back. I was in at the Central Texas Beekeeper School, and this guy sitting next to me, Art, he was making wax cups. He was telling people about the drawbacks to the plastic cell cups and how they're actually too big. And so I listened to him talk, and I knew that the yellow cups I bought were bigger than the brown cups. Really hadn't measured it and really didn't think it made that much of a difference. But I guess to a bee, you know 25, 30 thousandths of an inch makes a difference. So I did measure them. They are quite a bit bigger. In fact, they're a lot bigger. So I decided to try something different. I got home, and instead of using those cups, I went ahead and made some out of wax on some dowels. I had some 5/16 dowels. Made some out of that, and I put in some grafts. Now, I ran into a different issue at the same time. The cell builder I had been using was getting old, and I'll explain my cell builder in a minute. I made the wax cups, and I put some in the cell builder, and I made a new cell builder, put some in there at the same time. And the first cell builder, they cleaned out my cups. In the second cell builder, I grafted 8, and they're working 6 out of 8. So, bottom line is, those yellow cups, don't use them. I made the wax ones, they work pretty good. I don't like to make the wax ones, it takes a lot of time. Again, time and cost and whatnot. While I'm waiting for my brown ones to come in, I made a couple hundred of the wax ones. Now back onto my cell builder, how I make my cell builders. I'll start out with a strong colony, either 2 or 3 boxes. And I'll go out and I'll restack the boxes, and I'll move 2 or 3 brood frames in the top box. And open brood, whatever I can find. Shake all the bees off first. I'll put those frames in the top box over a queen excluder, and I leave them there for at least 8 days, preferably 10 days. So I know there's nothing in that box where the bees can make a queen. Then I'll go back on my first day grafting, and I'll move the main colony off to the side and flip it around backwards. I'll take that top box off, and I'll stick it where the main colony was, do it in the middle of the day so all the foragers come back to that box. So I should have a box full of bees there, queenless. And then I'll put grafts in, and I graft every 4 days. So I put a set of grafts in on that day, day 1, and 4 days later I put another set of grafts in. 4 days after that, the first frame comes out, goes in incubator, another frame goes in. So every 4 days until I get to day 20, I'll put day 20 is the last set of grafts I put in, or day 20, day 21, whatever you want to look at it. That's the last set I put in. So then on day 24, I take out the day 16 grafts, they go in incubator. And so I'm not grafting again. I'll take that box, I'll put the queen excluder back on the main hive, I'll restack that on top of the main box with the queen excluder, and I'll throw some brood frames in the top of that box again, and I'll leave them there, and I come back 4 days later, I'll pull my grafts out, and I come back 6 days after that, and now I've had brood in the top box for 10 days, they can't make a queen, so I can redo it. So that's how I start my cell build. So, when I was grafting with these yellow cups, I had an instance where I grafted like 12 larvae, and I know I grafted good larvae. I mean, I felt really good, grafted good. Of the 12, I think they made 1. They cleaned the rest of the cups out. But then when I went in there 4 days later for my next set of grafts, I've made a habit now of checking frames. I went and checked a frame that had no other larva on it, or no brood on it, and 3 queen cells, and 2 of them were capped. So I am convinced that these bees moved larvae from those stupid yellow cups onto that frame and made their own queens. Now I did graft last week, which I really shouldn't have because I was past the 21-day thing. I threw a set of grafts in there just as an experiment because I think I missed the queen. I think they moved the larva on a different frame down on the bottom, and I missed it because I was in there pulling the last set of grass out where I only had one at 8. And I noticed on the bottom of one frame what kind of looked like a queen cup had been cut open. So, in my first cell builder that I had set up, I think I got a rogue queen again. Went to that thing last year. But the other one I got set up now is running on wax cups, and they're doing pretty good, 6 out of 8. So, that's the education I got this week. Bees are still frustrating. They do what they want to do. We really can't control them. But if anybody is thinking about using those little yellow plastic cups, whatever color these things are, I mean, pick it up here. These little cups here. Sell them cheap on eBay. I would not recommend using them. Toss them. The little brown ones work fine. Wax ones looking pretty good. I'm going to stick with the brown ones and the wax ones. That's all for now.